Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Fearless Floyd Show. As always, I am your host, Fearless Floyd. This is not live, it is a pre recorded video. It was recorded on November 25th, 2024. For posterity purposes, there's a banner running here. This is everything you need to know about me, my show, how to contact me, products in my store, or just news that I think you should be aware of. But as you see from the banner and the title of this video, Jasmine Crockett, world's dumbest politician. And I'm telling you, folks, to earn that title, that world championship belt, you've got to be pretty goddamn dumb. And I said that for a reason. Absolutely. We all know the former world's dumbest politician was the late Sheila Jackson Lee of the former 18th Congressional District for Harris County, Texas, where I live. She got cancer, turbo cancer, allegedly. And quickly as she was diagnosed, done. So we had to find somebody to obtain and retain that world championship belt titled the world's dumbest politician. Folks, let me introduce you to Dallas Congresswoman. Yes, Dallas, Texas, of course, Jasmine Crockett. Well, I'm going to play a video of her testifying, because that's what she's doing, testifying in Congress, okay, about the plight of the African American slave trade in America. So I want you to hear her history, her story, her story of what she believes that the African Americans came to the United States of America as slaves. Okay. So we're going to hear her story, and then we're going to go just do a search on the internet and see what pops up, which anybody could do before you open your mouth and become the world's dumbest politician. And it's just a document on the public education / institutions that teach a bunch of bullshit. Because somehow this woman managed to get through a Texas public schooling system, through elementary, middle school, and high school, and then somehow go to college and become whatever her degree in college is, and then go to law school, become an attorney. This is why I tell you folks, okay? Most attorneys are dumb as a box of rocks. I can out talk them, out debate them, outlaw them probably 90% of the time. I'll run into some of those that are really, really skilled, really know their shit. But for the most part, dumb as a fucking box of rocks. Pathetic because they follow the bar system. So let's go look at the clown, Jasmine Crockett, the world's dumbest politician. I said that, Jasmine, and I'm right here in Harris County, Texas, Houston. If you'd like to come on my show, as always, free invitation, 24/7, 365. My phone number is easy to find. You can go to my website, thefearlessfloydshow.com. Scroll to the very bottom. You're going to see a cell phone number. Call it. Guess who's going to answer? Me. If you call from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. That's the only time this phone works. Otherwise, it's a dead phone. And anybody's welcome to call me at any time. So you're more than welcome to come on the show. Just call. We'll schedule you, get you in the books, and we'll get you on the high noon show. And we'll do a live, and we'll have a friendly debate about herstory and history and what the real true facts are, because I solemnly swear, tell the truth, whole truth, not the truth, so help me God. As always, it's been a glorious day for me. The divine has provided tenfold. Tenfold. So, just so you guys understand, it's been a very, very glorious day for me. Not going to tell you what happened, but yeah, you'll know in the future, as always. So let's just go get right into the brass tacks. You know, uh, pun intended, but we're going to call a spade because this woman is a racist, prejudiced bigot. Okay. And I hate to say this because, here, just so you know, okay, hang on. Fearless Floyd got to throw up his bona fides for you guys. So there's no misrepresentation about who I am and what I'm telling you guys. Oh, yeah, I'd give this. I'm a card-carrying member of the Muskogee Creek Nation. Floyd Pleasant Tarvin the fourth. Right there. There's my photograph. Right there. So I'm a person of color. So I can call a spade, a hoe, and I can use the N-word if I want. Okay? Because we're all melanated on the outside. We're all same on the inside. There's no reason to be racist, bigoted, prejudiced. You got to love one another. We got to unite in harmony. But with people like this, it'll never happen. Okay? So let me introduce you to the world's dumbest politician, a race baiter. Okay? This woman, sorry, she's evil, allegedly. I don't want to get beat up for anybody. No, everything I say is in my opinion. It's all allegedly. Let me go over here and dive in. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. And here we'll scroll up. Representative Crockett pops off on GOP anti-diversity bill. You don't know the definition of oppression. Okay. Let's go find out what, somebody who's been oppressed her entire life, who holds a Juris Doctorate in law and obviously a college degree. So she's really oppressed. Okay. She's from Dallas, Texas. She's really oppressed. She's a United States Congresswoman. Oh my God, she is just so suppressed. How much you want to bet her her net worth has increased since she's been in DC? All right, let's go take a listen to the world's dumbest politician. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Crockett.
So many of you know that I practice law, but some of you don't realize that I actually was a business major out of Rhodes College in Memphis, Tennessee. And the emphasis that I got in my business degree was on finance. And as I traveled the country campaigning this election cycle, one of the things that I talked about was this idea that in finance, we always promote this idea of diversity. If you know anything about a portfolio, the one thing that you want to do is make sure that it's as diverse as possible, because at times certain stocks will perform better than others, and they will exemplify various strengths and weaknesses. And together, a diverse portfolio is usually what any good finance person would promote. They wouldn't promote that you solely invest in vanilla wafers, believing that that is going to be the strongest portfolio, but instead they may want to add some chocolate cake and some Twinkies into the mix to make sure that we have the best portfolio, because there will be different preferences by different people. And again, there will be different strengths. But as I sit here and I think about what we say and what I'm hearing as it relates to diversity when it comes to anything outside of making money. And to be clear, we are losing GDP every time we try to push back on this idea of diversity, because all of us bring something different to the table. but you consistently said over and over the word oppression, and every time that you said it, it was almost as if I was hearing nails on a chalkboard, because it seems like you don't understand the definition of oppression, and I'd ask you to just refer to Google to help you out. Oppression is the prolonged, cruel, or unjust treatment or control. That is the definition of oppression. And so as I sit here as a Black woman who practiced civil rights, let me tell you
I'm sorry, folks, but I'm going to have to oppress you for about 5 more minutes about 3 more minutes with the rest of her speech. So I'm not trying to oppress you by any stretch of the imagination as defined by Google. I'm sorry to interrupt, man. This woman's hilarious.
reason that my colleagues wanted to make sure you understood the same Black history that your side of the aisle wants to delete out of classrooms is because you can then misuse words like oppression. There has been no oppression for the white man in this country. You tell me which white men were dragged out of their homes. You tell me which one of them got dragged all the way across an ocean and told that you are going to go and work. We are going to steal your wives. We are going to rape your wives. That didn't happen. That is oppression. We didn't ask to be here. We not the same migrants that y'all constantly come up against. We didn't run away from home. We were stolen. So yeah, we are going to sit here and be offended when you want to sit here and act like, and don't let it escape you that it is white men on this side of the aisle telling us, people of color on this side of the aisle, that y'all are the ones being oppressed, that y'all are the ones that are being harmed. That's not the definition of oppression. You tell me the prolonged, cruel, or unjust treatment that you've had, and we can have a conversation.
You could start with Exodus.
The final thing that I will say on this particular issue, 2 things. There is an article from The Guardian, and it is a little old. It's from 2021. So I apologize. But it said that back then, just 3 years ago, white men represent 30% of the population, but 62% of office holders. These are the issues that we are constantly looking at and recognizing and trying to say, is this just? I can't even tell you how many white men have served in this chamber, but I can tell you that I am only the 55th Black woman to be elected to Congress. And so when you want to talk about history and pretend as if it was so long ago, it wasn't. Because again, I am just number 55. Finally, when we start to talk about what do these numbers do, as we're trying to say the diversity, equity, and inclusion is the problem, the reality is that when it comes to financial performance, companies with more diverse workforces are more likely to outperform their competitors. Companies in the top quartile for racial diversity are 35% more likely to outperform their peers on profitability. Companies with diverse executive teams are 25% more likely to generate greater profits. Diverse companies earn 2.5 times higher cash flow per employee. Diversity works. And until you can show me data that says otherwise, I think that we need to go back to being a country that listens to experts and gets out of our feelings and recognizes again that racism is real in this country. And until we stop pretending that it's not, we will not solve the problems that we are consistently facing. And that will bring real unity that we seek when we're looking for a more perfect union.
Well, I told you, world's dumbest politician. Absolutely. So let's just go find out really how ignorant, stupid, misinformed, apparently doesn't know how to research. I don't know how the hell she got through college and got a JD. Oh my God, ludicrous. Let me go pull up this real quick for you guys. I've done videos on this, so I'm going to show it to you. Let me get over here. Let me share my screen. All right. As you see here, SF 181. What is the SF 181, Floyd? Wow. That is the General Services Administration Standard Form 181. And as you see right here, ethnicity and race identification. Well, we can go here to commerce.gov. We can go to this. We can go to GSA. Hey, let's go straight to the source. Okay. GSA. Here we come. Come on, baby, baby, baby. Y'all ready? Y'all want to see the form? Here's the title. You're going to click on that, open it up. All right, there we go. Oh, it wants to, I don't want to save it. I want to open it. Need the Adobe Reader either. I don't know. It's tripping on me. Hang on. Let me go get this thing up. Dear God. Usually it just pops right up, so I'm sorry about that. All right, here we go. Sorry about that. Here we go. I'm going to bump it up for you. Can't make that close. Sucks. So let me get it right there for you guys. All right. As you see, U.S. Office of Personnel Management Guide to Personal Data Standards, Ethnicity and Race Identification. Ethnicity and race information is requested under the authority of Title 42, United States Code, Section 2000E-16, and in compliance with the Office of Management and Budget's 1997 revisions to the standards for the classification of federal data on race and ethnicity. Providing this information is voluntary and has no impact on your employment status, but in the instance of missing information, your employing agency will attempt to identify your race and ethnicity by visual observation. All right. This information is used as necessary to plan for equal employment opportunity through the federal government. That sounds like diversity to me, doesn't it? Equal employment opportunity, diversity. Ha ha. It is also used by the U.S. Office of Personnel Management or employing agency maintaining the records to locate individuals for personnel research or survey response, and in the production of summary descriptive statistics and analytical studies in support of the function for which the records are collected and maintained, or for related workforce studies. Social Security number is requested under the authority of Executive Order 9397, which requires Social Security number be used for the purpose of uniform, orderly administration of personnel records. Providing this information is voluntary, and failure to do so will have no effect on your employment status. If your Social Security number is not provided, however, other agency sources may be used to obtain it. Specific instructions. The two questions below are designed to identify your ethnicity and race. Regardless of your answer to question 1, go to question 2. Question 1, are you Hispanic or Latino? Now, what's the definition of that? The definition of a Hispanic or Latino is a person of Cuban, Mexican, Puerto Rican, South or Central American or other Spanish culture or origin, regardless of race. Moving on to number 2. Please select the racial category or categories with which you most closely identify by placing an X in the appropriate box. Check as many as apply. First box is racial category. Again, check as many as apply. And then the next column to the right is definition of that category. The first category we have below is American Indian or Alaska Native. Here's the definition, folks. A person having origins in any of the original peoples of North and South America, including Central America, and who maintains tribal affiliation or community attachment. Guilty as sin. American Indian before you. Thank you. Asian. Asian persuasion, folks. A person having origins in any of the original peoples of the Far East, Southeast Asia, or the Indian subcontinent, including, for example, Cambodia, China, India, Japan, Korea, Malaysia, Pakistan, the Philippine Islands, Thailand, and lastly, Vietnam. All right. Okay. Keywords here. A person having origins in any of the original peoples. Okay. So that's a key term right there. And I want you to keep this on the front of your mind when we're going through this. So who do we have next here, Floyd? Black or African American? Here, you see it right here? Boom. Check the box for you. A person having origins in any of the Black racial groups of Africa. Okay? That's what a Black and an African American is. All right? So, have we... So have we made the determination that only Black people come from Africa? Or might they come from somewhere else? So we don't know that true thing, but we talk about it. So let's continue. Boom, 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 boom. Native Hawaiian or other Pacific Islander. A person having origins in any of the original peoples of Hawaii, Guam, Samoa, or other Pacific islands. And we're going to scroll down a little bit more. What do you think is next? Dun, 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 dun. White people. So let's go check out that 30% white man. A person having origins in any of the original peoples of Europe, the Middle East, yeah, you heard me, the Middle East, or where? North Africa. Well, folks, what's north of South Africa? Because you do know that South Africa is the bottom of the continent of Africa, and all the other countries are north of South Africa. So are all those North Africans and Middle Easterns white? So are they gray, black and white? So we just call them grays and leave the ETs alone and call those the greens? World's dumbest politician, Jasmine Crockett. Let's dive right in because she doesn't know who the hell she is. She doesn't know if she's white, black, African American, a combination. She has no clue. I'll bet you. Jasmine, I'll bet you don't even know what country you come from your ancestors. In Africa. You can't tell me where you come from. Whether you come from Nigeria, Sudan, Ethiopia, Somalia. You can't tell me nothing, girl. So let's dive right in and go look what a simple Google search would do. You guys are going to trip. So I just asked a simple question. How did African slaves get to the United States of America? There you go. Answer with AI. African slaves, U.S. arrival. African slaves were forcibly transported to the United States of America through the transatlantic slave trade, which spanned from the 16th century, that's the 1500s, folks, okay, 1500s. When was America established? Oh, 1776, you say. Huh. Well, we're 200 years before what? What year did Columbus allegedly discover? Who's a Spaniard? Really French. Discover America? 1492. So 1492, that's almost the 16th century. To the 19th century. Well, actually, it's into the 21st century because we still have a slave trade going on in the United States of America. There's still human trafficking. So here's a concise overview. Jasmine, initial voyages. The first Africans brought to the Americas were taken to the Caribbean and South America by the who? Portuguese, the Spanish, the French, and British. So where did this white man in America go, like, capture these slaves in Africa and transport them back to the United States and force them, you're going to go work? I'm waiting for the world's dumbest politician to answer me, because she can't. So that little old business degree you got from that college, that college should rescind that. Whoever you got your JD from, they should rescind that too. Okay? Because you don't even know your own damn history. Seriously. These early voyages started from the 1520s, involved smaller numbers of enslaved people. Okay? So how did the actual Africans get caught up in the slave trade in Africa? Do you even know that, Jasmine? Probably fucking not, because you're the world's dumbest politician. I'm calling you out in front of God and everybody, like I do. I'm Fearless Floyd, darling. Come find me. Most of all of Texas executives and legislature know who I am or know of me. Okay? So your warring tribes in Africa would capture enemy tribal members. And then when these outsiders came, they traded these prisoners for whatever was trading: herbs, spices, precious metals, whatever commodity of the day was. Sometimes your own ruler of your tribe, whatever they were named, king, whatever, sold off their own people. You ding dong, world's dumbest politician. So, establishment of the transatlantic slave trade. By the 17th century, okay, now we're into what? 1800s. Or I'm sorry, the 1600s. The transatlantic slave trade became a lucrative commercial enterprise. Millions of Africans were forcibly taken from their homelands, primarily in West and Central Africa, to the Americas. Okay? So by this time, America had a little money. Middle Passage. Enslaved Africans were packed into overcrowded and unsanitary ships known as slave ships for the grueling and deadly Middle Passage across the Atlantic Ocean. This journey could take several months, during which many enslaved people died due to harsh conditions, disease, and mistreatment. Arrival in the Americas. Upon arrival, enslaved Africans were sold to plantation owners, traders, and colonists in the British colonies, including Virginia, Maryland, and the Carolinas. The first recorded arrival of enslaved Africans in what is now the United States occurred in 1619 when a group of about 20 Africans landed at Point Comfort in Virginia. How do I know this history, Jasmine? Well, as I showed earlier in the video, I'm a Muskogee Creek Nation citizen. If you don't know anything about the Muskogee Creek, we used to be over in Alabama before the United States government forced my people to walk from Alabama to Oklahoma in the Trail of Tears. So if you want to talk about oppression, well, I have a means to stand on a podium and bitch. You don't even know where you came from. You don't even know who your ancestors are. So, the first recorded, already went through that. Key statistics and events. Between 1526 and 1867, an estimated 12.5 million Africans were put on ships in Africa, with 10.7 million arriving in the Americas. Okay? So, there were probably some entrepreneurs in America who had ships or had boats. Once they found out that, hey, these Africans, we can go get more and we can sell them at a profit. That's what happened. So if you're going to blame somebody, blame the colonists. Don't sit up there in Congress in 2024 and blame everybody, because we had nothing to do with any of that. This isn't a time machine or a time warp that we're in, Jasmine, where somehow you're still oppressed from something that happened in what, the 1500s, 1600s, hundreds of years ago, centuries ago, unless you're a vampire, you're still alive. The peak years of the transatlantic slave trade were the 18th century, with over, that's the 1700s, okay? And what happened in the 1700s? The founding of the United States of America, right? These 13 colonies. So when you just label white men, no. Let's back that up, okay? Because it wasn't the white man. It was the Portuguese, the Spanish, the French, and the British. And the British are white men. And I highly doubt there were any women on these ships that were part of the crew or running the ship, captain of the ship. I would say it's probably 99.9% all men. Absolutely. So let's continue with the edumacation, Jasmine. The world's dumbest politician from Dallas, Texas, who allegedly holds 2 degrees. All right. So, peak years of transatlantic slave trade were the 18th century, with over 80,000 enslaved people leaving Africa annually between 1821 and 1830. So in, these like 9 years right here, 80,000 a year were coming over. So I don't know how much per head, could have been $1 a slave. Who the hell knows? The Louisiana Purchase in 1803 expanded American territory, leading to an increase in the domestic slave trade and forced migration of enslaved people from the upper South to the deep South. Well, Jasmine Crockett, if you knew your Texas history, you would know that the old red brick Texas Department of Criminal Justice Correctional Institution Division prison system. Prisons were built on plantations. The state just came in and bought them out, took them over. Well, the slaves were freed by the Emancipation Proclamation, done where? In Galveston Island. Several years after, the war had ended. But that's when they got the news. That's about the time that the ship came around and finally landed and said, hey, guess what? You're all free. So plantation owners don't have any slaves anymore to work the fields. Boom, they sell it off to the state. State comes in. What do? Turn it into a penal colony. Now they got to fill the penal colony full of slaves. What do? They go get prisoners. Because you're too ignorant, too blind, too jaded, probably mentally ill by the sounds of your tone, your voice, your argumentative debate. You probably should seek some therapy because you don't even know your own history, your herstory. So come back to the table when you've got some real relevant facts that we can all grasp and go, oh, yeah, she knows what the hell she's talking about. We probably might want to believe her. But now I put you on Front Street, Jasmine Crockett, to make you a real, true, moronic idiot that you are, allegedly. So take that belt. Take it home, make some fashion sense for you because you're going to wear that belt until you get out of the United States government. I'm going to call you out. Every time I catch you over here slipping, sliding, I'm going to make sure you fall and bust your ass, girl, in front of God and everybody. And I'm going to call you out on your bullshit. That's all you got. Bullshit. Diversity, diversity, diversity. So the abolition of the international slave trade in 1808 created a labor shortage, leading to increased domestic slave trading and the forced migration of enslaved people. Legacy. The transatlantic slave trade and the institution of slavery had a profound and lasting impact on the United States, shaping its history, culture, and society. The legacy of slavery continues to influence contemporary issues related to race, inequality, and social justice. So I am back. So, boom. If you go to your history, you will find out that the Native Americans, the Indians, who were already here, okay, they took in some of these slaves as slave owners. They actually had sexual relations with their slaves. They married their slaves. Yes. If you went and did your DNA ancestral lineage, you would more likely find out that you're probably got a lot of Native American Indian, probably a little white man too. So when I was in prison and I used to hear all these African American blacks, the black of the berries, we are the Jews. They were so proud of being black and African American and all that. Hey, God bless them, I'm thinking, man, these fools don't even know their own history. And they're running around here talking all this big time smack about how glorious it is to be black, but yet y'all want to run around here talking about, oh, we're so oppressed because we're black. When the words coming out of your mouth make you sound like the world's dumbest politician, what do you expect us to think, Jasmine? Y'all have a nice day. I appreciate y'all being here. Y'all be sure and like and subscribe, share this video, hit that notification bell so when I tell you a little bit more of the truth, you can leave a comment below and tell me what you think about it. What do you think about me? What do you think about Jasmine Crockett? What do you think about Texas politics? or her story or his story, or about the slave trade, or your relationship with the slave trade, whether or not you had ancestors who were slaves, owned slaves, intermingled with slaves. Because really, we're all slaves to the system. I hope you enjoyed the show. Again, if you need any information, it's scrolling along here at the very bottom. So go check that out. You want to reach me, The Fearless Floyd Show at yahoo.com. FearlessFloydShow.com is my website. I am The Fearless Floyd Show across every social media platform. Come find me. Mainly hang out over on Telegram when I do hang out in social media. Don't have time for much, but when I do, that's where I'm at. I would love to be able to participate in all the other platforms, but it's very difficult to keep up on because I'm probably a member of 12, 14, I don't know how many social media platforms. So again, thank you. Appreciate each and every one of you. I'll see you when I see you, whenever that is, because I know this video will come out in the first week of September or December. Back when YouTube will allow me to post new videos. So there you go, folks. I'm just presenting facts as I see them, as I find them, and hopefully you too can gain a little wisdom, truth, and knowledge. Don't forget 2026 election, okay? Because you're going to see some questionable appointments, nominations by Trump, okay? And you're like, ooh, I don't like that pig. Looks like he's doing the same thing that everybody else, all these other presidents were doing, putting these industry people in there. Okay. It's up to us to go back in 2026, the next election cycle, and find the people that we know and we can trust, get them in elected offices, get these rhinos out of here, get these mentally ill dim libs out of here too. Okay. We are the white hats, folks. Don't ever forget that. We are the white hats. It's going to take all of us. It's going to take all of us to, kill all those rats and roaches and pests that are running around our country right now called illegal immigrants. And that even goes for the ones that came here and then been dropping anchor babies like there's no tomorrow. And y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. Thank you for being here. Make America great again. I'll catch you when I catch you.